Okay, good afternoon. My name is Thomas Farris from the City of Fall River Police Department. I'll be standing in his chair for Sergeant Dolan, who is tied up with a dignitary who is in town. Pursuant to the open law meeting, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Today is the 20th of July. We'll do a roll call.
Helen Rigo, Natalie Mello,
Here.
Charlie Dedme,
Present.
and Officer Tom Farris.
Present.
Oh, and Sergeant Dolan,
Sergeant Dolan,
absent.
not available.
How could I forget him?
All right, tabled. No, not tabled items. Request for handicap parking is 411.
Do you want to do citizen input first?
Oh, okay. Does anyone have any citizen input other than for what's on the agenda today? Okay. We come back to that?
Oh, no, he can already come.
All right, sir, if you want to come right on down,
Sure.
And then he could give his
state your name
name.
and what you would like to
Yes,
tell us.
good afternoon. My name is Richard Souza, and I'm representing the Maplewood Neighborhood excuse me, Association. We're here because of other people in our neighborhood is going to be asking for a stop sign. We want to back that up because we see so many traffic problems on three particular streets that they are technically flying down. And
Flying isn't speeding.
they
I
start,
just want to clarify what you mean.
right. So that's all I need.
Okay. What streets
You want me to
talking
talk
about?
now or you want me to talk after?
What streets do you, are you talking?
Grattan, Frost, and Stockton.
Okay. And you want additional stop signs there?
Yes, we'd like to see four-way stop signs on those three streets at the intersection of Renard Street, rather,
Right.
because you could make so much money by stopping
We're
these
not looking to
speeders.
make money, sir.
No?
We're not in the business of making money or torturing the public.
Well, then enforcing the law.
Officer Farris,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Renard was
I believe that was
addressed.
tabled, that's not
Yeah,
right,
oh, no,
right.
it was denied.
It was denied, right.
Due to no, accidents or anything like that.
Right.
So that's why this gentleman called and said he's more than welcome to come to the citizen input and discuss his issues. It is up to you if you want to let him know to put this in writing, and it can go in our August traffic board meeting.
Right.
Excuse me.
It was,
I was supposed to come last month. My name is Melissa Zanoy. I was supposed to come last month, but I was told it could be tabled so I could get the day off to come today.
The stop sign one?
yeah,
It was denied.
she was working.
The issue with four-way stops is this. It creates no right-of-way. Basically, the stop signs act as what we perceive to slow people down.
A deterrent, right.
There was a study, I believe it was either Northwestern University or Syracuse, that found that people who have to stop for stop signs actually act in the opposite way, or they will speed up to get to where they want to go.
Okay.
The other issue with the right-of-way is this. Grattan, Frost, and Stockton are all right-of-way streets. That puts the onus on people coming out of side streets. As a city police officer for over 25 years, I can tell you that when there is a crash and there's a four-way stop, we are unable to determine who committed a motor vehicle violation
That's right.
most of the time.
Right.
What happens is your insurance company will fine you 50-50, unless you have a camera in the car. However, if you would like to put that in writing and send it to the traffic department, we can most certainly look at collisions on that street, speeding on that street, and whatnot. We usually start out by putting a speed trailer out there to determine a medium speed. Now, I don't know the date. I know Sergeant Dolan has addressed this. I've been in the traffic division for quite some time.
Right.
And I can tell you that I believe the medium speed on those streets was well under the posted speed limit.
Right.
However, we can revisit it again, it's not a problem.
Yeah, sure.
If it's an issue in a neighborhood, we're certainly here to help the neighborhoods.
For your edification, they start at Rodman Street and they continue down with it. You can hear the carburetors open.
Right,
And they're just flying down there to see who can get to the bottom faster.
right. Understood.
And
If
there's,
there's an issue there, sir, we will
Right.
certainly address it.
we didn't video, my friend didn't have a chance to video it, but there were two guys on motor scooters, not the little ones, the medium ones,
Right.
you know. They were filming themselves doing wheelies with the helmets on, with the helmets off. And this goes on every week, every night, every morning. It's almost every day.
All around the
It's-
city.
Well, I
live off of
don't
Main- I
know
live
about
off
all
of Main
around the
Road in
city, but,
and I can tell you it's every
no,
day. We can.
first of all, we can tell you because we live there.
Okay.
I live on Kennedy, my friend lives on Frost, she's been there 50 years. At this particular intersection of Renard and Stockton,
Yeah.
there was a bread truck, had an accident. They had to pull this truck out of this young lady's yard before. Now, it wasn't today, but it's been there before.
Right.
So, whatever you can do to help us
Absolutely, sir.
as the association, the president of the association is not be able to come tonight because we have our regular meeting,
Understood.
and District Attorney Quinn is going to be our guest speaker.
Could you create a formal request?
Sure.
And send it to Laura's office?
Definitely.
And I do have your notes. I will speak with Sergeant Dolan, and we should be able to get a couple of speed trailers out there to determine exactly how many cars, what direction they're traveling in, and the medium speed there, and we'll
Okay.
determine if we have.
One
a
last
major issue.
question.
Yes, sir.
The city bought 41 cameras for the police department. Could they utilize those cameras, one of those cameras on these streets, or switch them from street to street?
I don't have that information, sir.
Excuse me?
I don't have that information. I don't know.
Oh, I know, because it went out for a bid, and I was part of that bid for 41
But
cameras.
what I'm saying is I don't have the information on whether or not they can put cameras.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I mean.
All right, Charlie? You all set? Thanks for doing the park.
Nope.
A little bit. We gotta get, I didn't know that the meeting was for the park board last week. I'll have to talk to you again.
We'll get together.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Do you mind if I speak like this? 'Cause I'm
Sure,
not-
come on up.
I'm just not gonna be able to get the day off again
Yep.
next month.
Understood, ma'am.
So my name's Melissa Zanoy. I live at the corner of Stockton and Renaud Street. In the past year, there has been 3 major accidents there. One, the person across the
This
street
year?
from me. In the past year, like
All right.
not calendar year.
That's all data we're gonna check.
Okay.
3 major motor vehicle collisions.
Yes.
Stockton and Renaud.
One hit the stone wall of my neighbor's house, and he had to get the stone wall replaced. One came into my yard, and I had to remove a tree over it because it knocked it over. And then I came home from work one day, and I guess the street had been blocked for 3 hours because there was a car diagonally across, horizontally across Stockton Street. Now, of course, everybody has the little fender benders here and there, and that's kind of whatever. That's living on a street. But I do have my nieces that come over from time to time, and I'm so afraid for them to play in the yard because I know how forceful these accidents can be. And I completely understand. I work on an ambulance. I understand what you're saying about the stop signs and all that kind of stuff. I just think it would reduce the force of the accidents, which would actually make me very happy. And with the school, I think it would help the parking because it would give them the stop line to be like, okay, I can't park that close to the corner. The school parks all the way down the side, which they don't really cause problems. They just park too close to the corner and you can't see to get off. But I can go a different way. It's not a big deal. I think it would reduce the force of the accidents, even though I do my yard work on Fridays and I see people run the stop signs all of the time. So that's.
Had you sent a request to Laura's?
Well, that's the one that was denied in
Yes,
in
I
June.
wasn't able, I work until 6 o'clock at night, and I didn't know when these meetings were.
Understood.
So I couldn't get the day off in time, so I got today off, not realizing it was already denied. And I won't be able to get the next one
We can
off.
begin a study over there and.
And we did the
find
trailers
a
at one point
medium
too.
speed of what's going on there, if they're, if we have an overabundant amount of vehicles operating well above the posted speed limit. We can certainly get the numbers on that. We can get the numbers on what collisions we've had at that particular intersection.
Yeah, I don't remember the date of when the stone wall was hit, but I know mine was in October.
We'll check it. We'll be able to find out the circumstances of that, if it was speed related or whether it was somebody who was operating under the influence of drugs or alcohol or whatever the case may be.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'd like to also make a comment, if I may.
Citizen input, sir?
Yes,
Yes,
so
sir.
Ms. Ferreira, I'm the one who sent you the lengthy email this week of a synopsis of what is going on within the neighborhood. To give you
This is
a...
the same neighborhood?
Exactly.
Okay.
I live right in the middle of Stockton Street, so I am the recipient of the traffic violations of speeding. We have a posted speed limit on my street of 30 miles an hour, which I think is erroneous.
What would you like, sir?
Well,
What's your recommendation?
I'd like it consistent with the other streets within the neighborhood. Because Stockton Street is parallel with Rodman Street and Renard Street, which are both posted at 25 miles per hour. A greater traffic streets on either side are going to be Jefferson Street and Stafford Road, which are posted at 25 miles an hour. Stockton Street is posted at 30 miles an hour.
We
Okay, so-
can change, we'll change that to 25.
Okay, so I think
I don't see an issue there at all.
that's
I
one
see no issue
element
with that
may
at
help.
all.
Perfect.
Yep.
With the advent of the Atlanta School being developed, Stockton Street has become a right-of-way to to the property.
Well, it becomes a main thoroughfare because there's no other, you only have a couple
Exactly.
of ways to get
It
in there.
becomes the main thoroughfare, and it becomes the main outlet from people either coming from either direction on Jefferson Street.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is they come around the corner from Jefferson Street onto Stockton Street, and they speed up the street. At the following intersection, not Renard, but Rodman Street, is a school daycare center.
Right, Boyd Center.
Yeah, the Johnny Boyd Center. I grew up on the
Very
street.
familiar.
My
Very
parents are
familiar
on the
with the
street.
area.
My great-grandparents grew up on the street. I've been there for generations. Within the last couple of decades, especially the last decade, the traffic has increased exponentially.
But we
It
have
ha-
the school down there, so.
Exactly. I'm not as concerned with the traffic flow as I am as the amount of cars that are speeding up and down the street.
Right.
At Renard Street and Stockton Street, I feel, and I am no expert in this area, I am just an observer.
Yep.
If at least there was a traffic stop there, there's also a traffic stop at the next
At
intersection, which is
Stockton and Rodman?
At Stockton and Rodman, there's already a four-way
Right,
stop.
Right, it's a four-way stop.
Okay?
Yep.
If there was another four-way stop at Renard Street and
Yeah.
Stockton Street,
That's gonna solve the problem.
I don't say it will solve the problem. It will help with the problem. Okay? Because the traffic will hopefully slow down there, and as they come up to the next intersection, they will have to stop because there's a four-way stop there.
Right.
Right now, they have a speedway from Rodman Street all the way down to Jefferson Street.
Well, we can put a trailer out, and we'll be able to tell you how many cars traverse that street.
Okay.
We'll be able to tell you the medium speed of all those cars, and we're also gonna be able to give you a percentage of how many cars are operating within the speed limit, so. I have your notes, and I promise you, we'll certainly look into it and have
Okay.
some numbers for you by the next meeting.
All right, and Ms. Farrar, I sent you an email, if that could be sent along to the appropriate departments so they can understand the lengthy argument that I'm making in this capacity, I would very much appreciate
Understood, you're a
that.
resident there.
I'm a resident,
Yeah,
but I
absolutely.
have an elderly mother who walks around the block.
Absolutely.
And she has had a few near-miss experiences, and I don't want to lose anyone in the neighborhood
We
because...
don't wanna lose anybody either, sir.
Good, so I'd like us to work together on
Yeah,
this.
absolutely, of course.
All right, thank you very much. for
Thank
your
you,
time.
sir. Is there anyone else for citizen input?
So now it's the approval of the minutes from June.
Yes. So let's approve the minutes from the June meeting, traffic meeting,
And then motion,
and a motion to approve them.
Second. Oh, motion to approve?
and you can second it, or,
Second.
All right, seconded
Yep.
by Natalie to approve the minutes from the June meeting.
You second it, Natalie?
Sure.
Okay. All in favor?
Do a roll call for that?
you got it. Natalie Mello,
Yes.
Charlie,
Aye.
and Officer Farris.
Yes.
That wasn't painful. That wasn't painful at all.
Now you just go right
All right,
into,
so we have a request for handicap spots. The first is 411 4th Street.
well, you want to do the miscellaneous.
There's the miscellaneous.
Those are the ones, the very first page.
Oh, on the top? I was
Yeah,
going by the
those are
old one and then
those are the ones that
adding
didn't
in.
show up last month.
Where your X's are.
409 Tecumseh.
Request from a resident of 409 Tecumseh Street for no parking signage outside of resident's driveway. The resident has a wide driveway and there is a 6-foot curbing that vehicles park and obstruct the driveway.
Anyone here from 409 Tecumseh? So that's the second time no show, so you have to make a motion to deny.
So we'll make a motion to deny the signage at 409 Tecumseh Street,
Motion to deny.
seconded by Natalie. Roll call, please.
Natalie,
Deny.
Charlie,
Deny.
and Officer Farris.
Deny. The next was the traffic department to discuss the removal of stop signs from Mcgowan Street at Knight Street and Mcgowan Street at Fielden Street. The item was approved at the July 2021 traffic board meeting.
Okay, so I put this on here. That July meeting was the meeting that I was absent, so Natalie took the notes.
Yep.
And I guess there was a discussion of removing those stop signs from McGowan. So McGowan is the main thoroughway.
McGowan Street is the main right-of-way. There was a study done there. Sergeant Dolan reported that there were 3 collisions, one of them by somebody overcorrecting their steering, and speed was not an issue in the other 2.
My only concern is when removing these, if something does happen or there's an accident, I don't want it to come back to the city and say, well, there were stop signs there before and yet they were removed. That's my only hesitation, and I know Sergeant Dolan texts me once in a while, they're
Right.
still up. And I travel that every day, and I agree, it's not a busy street. I mean, I'm there every morning about 7 o'clock in the morning.
What's the posted speed there?
It's 25 as well.
It's 25
Yeah.
as well.
I mean, the other thing that I was thinking of is maybe we can move one at the section at a time instead of me doing the 2 of them. You know, let's take one out from Fielden and see how that works. And then we can take out the other one and see how that works instead of just going down there and removing these stop signs from McGowan. That's my only concern.
I don't think there's, not that I know of, there's ever been somebody involved in a collision and bringing it back on the board, or any individual member of the city of Fall River saying, hey, this was this and now it's not that. I think we've done our due diligence in recording facts of speed and recording facts of collisions that have occurred at those intersections, and it's basically non-existent. And the other thing is that there's no way that anyone can be held liable for someone else's negligence in operating a motor vehicle.
And I agree, I don't think the stop signs belong there, and that's one of our arguments at all times. And even if you discuss it with state, Mass DOT, I've had several conversations with them, and they've come to the city and they've said, you guys have stop signs where they shouldn't be.
Well, Fall River is the city of stop signs and red lights.
You should not put stop sign on a main thoroughway
Well,
that's, but I know.
creates a problem.
So my only concern was, I'm gonna have this go through ordinance to have it removed, but I'd like to do it like an intersection at a time, like do one month and then do one the next month,
Okay.
if that's okay with the board.
So, we want to make a motion to remove one of the,
No, I mean,
No?
I just brought it up because I wanted to make sure.
because it's already approved.
Right, it's already been approved.
So why don't you do that then? That's fine.
I just
That's
wanted
fine.
to kind of like let you know what my concerns was, once I remove it, people are just gonna, which it will be much better, and all the side streets are the ones that have, because all the other streets
As they
have
should.
stop signs, right?
They should.
Knight has a stop sign,
Right.
so all the other streets have a stop sign and not one on Mcgowan, so it's only
Right.
those two intersections. So if
Right.
that's the case, then that's what I'm going, so going forward, it's gonna go to ordinance,
Right.
and then I'll take one, and then I'll take the other, and we'll be all set.
I will say this, that there are some neighborhoods in which a four-way stop may assist in speeding. And then we end up with the, hey, they're not stopping for the stop sign. So it's, you get the, hey, I don't want speeding, but they're not speeding, but they're not stopping for the stop sign. I want a cop sitting at the intersection. It's,
And I'm glad you brought that up. The four-way stop sign, the criteria is always children,
right,
bicycles, okay, pedestrians.
Right.
So that's when you can really call for a four-way stop sign, when that much activity. That's why sometimes at schools, you'll see four-way stop signs, because you've got children crossing, you've got parents crossing with children, so you kind of have to have that
Right.
speed limit, so.
okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, there's a request from the Greater Fall River Community Food Pantry for loading zone signs at 235 Nashville Street. The letter addresses the situation. This is another one. This is it right here. To whom it may concern, the Greater Fall River Community Food Pantry would like to request a loading zone sign at our location at 235 Nashville Street, Fall River, Mass. We at times are having a problem loading and unloading product into our building, and the extra space would be very nice and helpful. We have clients lining up in our driveway to collect food, and at other times we have 2 trucks unloading product in and out of our building. We serve over 600 families monthly at our facility. We are the 5th largest food pantry in the eastern part of Massachusetts. We'd like to thank you in advance, David Perry, President of the Greater Fall River Community Food Pantry, which I think does an outstanding job. So, do we usually set times for loading zones?
We do, so they didn't put it here, but I can find out what their hours are, and then we kind of go with what's already in ordinance, and then we'll put the correct signs up, and then we'll do the measurements. We'll probably go a little bit more than 20 to accommodate the trucks that go there and
Yep.
deliver. So we'll probably go like 30,
I think that makes
35
sense.
feet.
So make a motion to, the loading zone signs with upon completion of hours and a distance
Okay,
for the Fall River Community Food Pantry.
very good.
Anybody want a second?
A second.
Seconded by Charlie. Roll call on that?
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Yes. All right, we have a request for handicap parking spot at 411 4th Street. Anybody here from 411 4th Street? The tenant is unable to utilize the driveway, applicant does not drive. They have a valid placard. And registration.
Is there someone here?
Is there anybody here from 411 4th Street?
So we automatically table.
So, motion to table 411 4th Street for a handicap spot.
Second.
Charlie seconds, roll call.
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Yes, table, please. We have a request from 109 Robeson Street for a handicap spot. Anybody here from 109 Robeson Street? 109 Robeson Street. Motion to table 109 Robeson Street for a handicap spot.
Second.
Charlie seconds, roll call.
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Yes, table it.
Okay.
We have a request from a resident at 656 Mount Hope Avenue for a handicap spot. Anybody here from 656 Mount Hope Ave? Negative. Motion to table 656 Mount Hope Avenue for a handicap spot.
Second.
Charlie seconds, roll call.
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Officer Farris.
Yes, table. We have a request from 534 Birch Street for a handicap spot. Anybody here from 534 Birch Street?
Oh, they could not be here. I think the daughter was supposed to come, mom, had surgery.
Okay, understandable.
So she couldn't be here.
Right.
So I don't know if you guys wanna,
Put it on
she
the
just
next.
came on, well, it's up to you. She just came out of the hospital, so there was no way she could be here.
Let's take a peek here. No, I mean, usually we table it, right?
Right, but they contacted the office, so I didn't hear
Yeah.
anything from the other people, so it's up to the board.
I think, did we send anything to them to let them know you tell them to come at the next meeting, or?
It's up to the board. If you want to do that, we can definitely,
I think then keeping in what we normally do, we'll have to table this. So
Yeah.
a motion to table 534 Birch Street, to be fair to everybody.
Second.
Seconded by Charlie, roll call.
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Yes, table. A request from 544 North Underwood Street. Yes, sir. All right. You don't, we have your information here, sir.
Yeah, I'm here on behalf of my mother, Margarita.
It's for your mom?
Yes, this is my house. I do not have a driveway. And
Does your mom drive?
she does.
She does.
She has,
She has a license and a registration?
yes.
Okay. And it's in her name, I can see that here.
Yeah,
Okay. So, the applicant does, it says the applicant does not drive and has a valid plaque and registration. Maybe that's just a typo. It might just be a typo. This one, let me read this real quick. Hold on. So it's looking like she does drive, she has a, she
It
has
could
a.
be a typo error when.
Yeah, I think it's probably a typo.
Yeah.
She does have an active placard.
These ones are in. This one, this changed.
No, you're right here.
Yeah.
You're right there.
This one's the.
Yeah, you gotta go. Watch this. This is like
This
it's
one's the.
Underwood.
This one's the.
So he recommended, no, he won't, because this is from Sergeant Dolan, so it won't say that here.
All right, gotcha.
I'll make sure we're gonna do that.
All right, so 544 North Underwood Street, everything looks in order. The applicant has a valid plaque and registration, is all, no off-street parking. I'll recommend approve. With that, motion to approve 544 North Underwood Street handicap spot.
Second.
Seconded by Charlie, roll call.
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Officer Farris.
Yes, approve. And if you wanna give
Can you do
everybody the-
your spiel on,
So basically, when handicap, and this is for anybody who's here for a handicap spot, here's how it works. Anyone with a valid placard can park in those spots. So in other words, you have your signs up, and then your mom gets back and there's a vehicle parked in that spot with an active handicap placard, it's not specifically her spot. So there are cases, sometimes these happen at stores or restaurants or whatnot. So it's not her spot, it's a spot. So anyone can park there with a valid placard. We sometimes get calls at the police department of people parking in their spot, so it's technically not their spot. If there's no placard, feel free to call us, we'll send a car by, and we'll take the appropriate
We
action.
should don't want, I'm sorry, we should don't want no trouble, because I know recently, my neighbor that bought the house, she came and she put hers, so we don't want.
No, understood, yeah. But it's just that it's not her spot, it's a spot,
Completely
okay?
understand.
And then the procedure, what's going to happen is all the applications that are approved today for handicap, probably next week, you're going to see some maintenance guys doing the measurements. So the second step is doing the measurements, sending it down to city council for them to refer it to ordinance, and then it gets approved in ordinance, goes back to council. We're talking about 6 to 8 weeks before you see the signs go up, okay?
Thank you.
All right, we have a request from 241 Pine Street. Okay.
Right up front.
Can I speak on my mom's behalf?
Well, we have the
She can
application.
speak Portuguese
Yeah,
if she wants
he's going to
to.
review the application.
Oh,
The applicant states that the driveway is much too narrow and has difficulties utilizing the driveway. Applicant does drive and has a valid placard and registration.
That's okay. And this is.
Active there, your name. So what is it, the property owner's parking there? Is that it? That's the issue?
I often, I take care of my mom almost every day. I go there, check on her
Yeah.
and take her shopping, whatever, and sometimes she drives. But if I drive her car, then I have to park in front, in front of her house, let her out. She's so slow. Anyhow, while you wonderful men were apprehending the guy next door that killed the gentleman on Rock Street, she had a fire in her kitchen.
Oh.
We were barricaded in, we couldn't leave
Right.
because, SWAT team, canines everywhere. Anyhow, fast forward, 2 days later, the smoke restoration people were there tearing everything out. There were 2 vans parked in the driveway. I borrowed my brother's car. Right next to YMCA, there's a no parking here to corner.
Right.
I left it there for 2 minutes while I brought her in the house. I got a ticket.
It always seems to be 2 minutes.
It was.
I'm sure it was.
It was. We were barricaded in the house
I'm sure.
for over an hour.
So here's the deal, everything looks in order, I'm gonna recommend approve it. Motion to approve for 241 Pine Street,
A second?
seconded by Charlie, roll call.
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Yes, approve. Yeah, you're all set.
Can we leave? It's cold in
And
here.
it's the- and
Yes,
it's
you
the-
can.
It's the
I'd
same
like to
deal
go
with
with
the-
you, but it's freezing in
It's
here.
the same
so-
deal that you're up near YMCA, is that it?
Yeah.
North Main?
All the
So you're gonna
YMCA
remember that
people.
it's not her spot.
I know.
It's a spot.
But they park all over the
I
street.
understood, but I'm saying it's not her spot, so if somebody with an active placard.
She hardly ever leaves, really.
Okay,
I drive her most of the time. She
Folks.
shouldn't even be driving.
you folks are good to go.
You're all set.
Vanya. You got it.
My nose is frozen.
It's me.
106 Hudson Street. 106, yes, sir. All right, we have the application here.
Thank you.
You have an active placard. All right, so 106 Hudson Street.
Doesn't have it.
Applicant has a valid placard.
Wish you couldn't get it.
Drop mine, I'll need to take some shopping on. So that's for Denise, right?
Yeah.
So I'll drive as well. All right, everything looks in order. We're gonna, a motion to improve 106 Hudson Street for handicap spot.
A second motion.
Charlie, seconds, roll call.
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Yes, approved.
Thank you.
So, you're welcome again. It's a spot,
Yep.
not your spot.
We've had some new houses built in the
Yep.
area, and they're just parking everywhere.
Okay. All right, you folks are good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am. So, what's this here?
Oh, I'm sorry, hold on.
Holden.
Holden Street, 76 Holden Street.
Mhm. I don't think they're here.
Could be,
Placard.
I don't think they're here. Are they here?
No, he's right there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't fit in regular seats.
So 76 Holden Street, the tenant is unable to utilize the driveway. The applicant does drive, he holds a valid placard and registration. It shouldn't cause any issue with the parking on the street. We'll recommend approval for 76 Holden Street for handicap spot.
a second?
Charlie seconds, roll call.
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Yes, approved. Okay, folks, thank you. 192 Bailey's. Sir, tenant's unable to use his driveway. He does drive, he holds a valid placard and a registration. It's active. And with those things in mind, we do have a letter from the property owner that states he does not have an off-street parking spot. We'll recommend approval for 192 Bailey Street handicap spot.
A second motion?
Charlie seconds, roll call.
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
Officer Farris.
Yes, approved. You're all set, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. 75 Boutwell. Applicant does drive, holds a valid placard and registration. There's no off-street parking available. Applicant holds a valid placard, an active license to that address, and an active registration. No off-street parking, we're gonna recommend approve 75 Boutwell Street for a handicap spot.
Second?
Charlie seconds, roll call please.
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Yes, approved. And
That's it?
that's, you're all set, sir.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
yep. That's it for handicap request.
Officer Farris, before we go into the rescind,
Yes,
there's two items that I had put on the agenda. One of them is regarding the bottom of Brownell Street where Remington Street is as well, where
Yes.
they just finished building the wall.
right.
I guess the state, the city had requested the state to see if they could do a small parking lot so that veterans that would go and visit the wall had somewhere to park. But unfortunately, that didn't go through. So through the mayor's office, they are requesting that the traffic board approve 2 handicap spots at the bottom of Brownell, on the south side of Brownell,
Yep.
and 1 spot on Remington on the west side, the very beginning. This way, any veteran with a placard that can't find any parking will be able to park close to where the wall is, because there's a walkway right over there that they can get out of their spot, and the walkway is right there to the wall.
So it's Brownell at Remington,
You got it.
2 2 spots.
You got it.
I think that makes perfect sense to do that. I recommend approve that, 2 handicap spots down near the memorial wall at Brown Island, Remington.
Second?
Charlie seconds. Roll call.
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Absolutely.
And then the other one, this one we've approved situations like this before. It's 409 Tecumseh Street. So there's a very small curbing, probably 8 feet between 2 driveways.
Yep.
So what happens is vehicles try to park on that spot.
Yeah.
And what
That little
happens...
spot of curbing?
You got it. So in the past, we've put no parking so that no one parks there.
Yep.
They've tried to go in front, well, they've tried to apply to have that curbing removed.
Right.
But it is expensive because it is at the owner's
Of course it
expense.
is, yeah.
So,
So my only question is that, like, they put the driveway there, it looks like, and they didn't do a curb cut.
well,
It looked like they put asphalt there.
yeah, they only asphalted their private property, so they didn't come out onto the sidewalk and remove the curbing, so they just did his property. But in the beginning, when they first did the sidewalk, they should have removed the whole thing.
Right.
But they didn't. So this is something that does happen throughout the city quite a bit. And unfortunately, there are pictures that he sent of
Right.
vehicles parked there, and the visibility is horrible when there's a car parked there.
I'm sure.
So, I mean, I can't put no parking. If it was like no parking here to corner, I wouldn't need to come in front of the traffic board, but we need
So-
to,
So the resident wants a no parking sign because he can't afford to cut the curb.
well, basically.
I just want to
What he
understand.
did, well, he did speak to the city engineer, and the
Yeah.
city engineer gave him the 2 options. You can either have the curb cut removed or do a no parking spot. That's,
Is he traversing that curb?
no, they come in this way and then they,
All right,
yeah,
right, okay.
yeah, he's not
That
going
makes
over,
sense.
yeah,
Look at the sign right there.
yeah, and then that way.
That's it.
My only hesitation is it kind of creates and anybody, hey, I can't afford to put a sign up for me.
Yeah.
That would be my only thought process. I don't,
Right,
if the board wants to give some input.
but again, we've done it with similar situations
Yeah.
where
Is a
there's,
car there?
oh, yeah. And if it's a large vehicle,
It's a spot.
sometimes
Yeah.
it
It's a place
sticks
to park.
out here,
It's a spot.
sometimes it sticks out
Just
there.
concerned he's climbing right here,
Right.
you know.
How
And
much
I mean,
did you
there-
move the curb? Is it?
I don't know. You have to hire someone to do it. You can't do it yourself. So, I mean, I do have the email from Daniel Aguirre, who's our city engineer, that either reach out to the traffic department and ask that a no parking sign be located, or apply for the curb to be removed through the engineering department. This would require city council approval, and you would be responsible for hiring the contractor to complete the work. It's not like the city goes over there and removes the curbing.
No, right.
And you pay the
I completely understand what his plight is. I know what he wants.
Right.
My only hesitation is this, and again, the board is the board, is that if you stop plopping up stop signs because somebody, hey, my property went over, it's not really a driveway, the next thing is gonna be, hey, ticket that car, he's parked where he shouldn't be.
Well, we have tagged a vehicle that has parked there because they were obstructing the driveway.
Right.
So we have tagged.
Is it technically a driveway without a curb cut?
No. So when the car parked on where that curbing is.
Yes.
The front of the car was obstructing
Oh,
that
okay.
driveway, so we tagged it for that. But the guys go home after, the PCOs go home after 4, so if anything is done after
Yeah.
4, they're stuck with a car blocking,
It's kind
their
of hard for
driveway.
us because kind of put it on us. You
Right.
should really be responsible to have the cut removed instead of asking us to put a sign up. So it should be his responsibility.
It's up
Kinda
to.
feel
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I get it.
I'm uncomfortable with that.
That's where my hesitation is that I can just pave something and be like, hey, can I get a sign now for no parking? Don't block my driveway. Tecumseh's a tough
Well,
street.
it's two driveways.
Right, I see
this
the other
isn't-
one there.
Yeah, the gentleman from here, I mean, they've spoken.
Right.
So he has the same issue if they park a little. His is worse because at least they have a
It's
bigger,
just smaller
yeah,
opening.
his is smaller, so he has more of an issue when they go over the curbing.
Why not
Is this all
just,
cut over here though, Laura?
just split the difference,
Yeah, I
split the
think it goes
cost?
16 feet. It's up to the board. I mean, we continue going there, and if there is a vehicle that obstructing either
Right, if
driveway,
they-
we do
right.
tag it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just something that curbing should have come out. I'm thinking that maybe the homeowners could have cooperated and said, hey, we'll split the cost and we'll get rid of the curb, and now we don't have to worry about signs or driveways. That's my hesitation. The only other hesitation I have is it kind of creates a precedence of, you know, I will create a driveway on my property, but there's still a curbing there. Put a sign up, you did it for them, why can't you do it for me?
That happens a lot.
That's my recommendation for denying it. I don't know what the board wants to do with that, but my recommendation would be to
Well, maybe
deny.
you should come in front of us, motion to deny.
Yeah, he can't because he comes home after 5, so it's very hard.
Well, I mean, we're at like quarter of now. Some of our meetings run longer. I mean, I don't have, I'll second that motion to deny. I just think it creates a slippery slope for the board.
Yeah.
Now, we denied it, he's gonna get a letter.
Right.
I know that, I think it's after 3 months he can reapply again.
Absolutely. Right.
Then that way he might, maybe he should come in front of the board and explain it.
Right.
Okay.
A roll call on the denying for 409 Tecumseh Street.
Natalie,
Deny.
Charlie,
Deny.
and Officer Farris.
Denying.
And that's all I have, except now to do the rescind.
So now to rescinding handicap spots, there's a request from the traffic department to have the following handicap spaces rescinded due to the individuals no longer utilizing the space because they have either moved, no longer drive, or have passed away. Polkrow Street, 10119, Sprague Street, January 6, 2020, Globe Street, April 4, 2019, Charles Street, April 27th, 2012, County Street, August 7th, 2019, and Tecumseh Street, October 25th, 2001. Motion to approve the removal of these handicap spots.
Second.
Charlie seconds, roll call.
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Yes. So we have any other business?
Nope.
So this concludes the July 20th, 2022 Traffic Board meeting. Motion to adjourn the meeting,
Second.
seconded by Charlie, roll call.
Natalie,
Yes.
Charlie,
Yes.
and Officer Farris.
Yes.
Okay, good.